for the Delaware Blue Hens as the pass was broken up by Brian Bates, the guy they love on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, Brian Bates, the leader of the Hornets defense, the swarm unit, and this doesn't look fresh from the start here. Certainly not how Delaware wants to start their first play offensively for 2025.
Marker completed 55% of his passes a season ago. There's his first of the season. To the 29-yard line, and that's Duplessis, the graduate transfer from Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, a very talented wide receiver. Coach Carty was thrilled to have him transfer into Delaware. As you can see here, you get a really good look at Marker's arm, throwing it out past the numbers. He's got tools to be a really successful quarterback. It's just a matter of can he execute.
3rd down and 5 here for the Hens on their opening drive. Marker has time, shoots it. Jake Thaw, second leading receiver for Delaware a year ago, picks up the first.
Yeah, Jake Thaw, we'll see him return some punts as well. Really a physical receiver. Does a great job here hanging on to the football. Marker lets the play develop. Thaw takes a huge hit across the middle there. Big first down for the Hens.
Marker gives to Silver for the first time. Joe Silver, who split carries with Marcus Yarns, who spent his summer with the New Orleans Saints. Now Silver will be the lead back for Ryan Carty's offense.
There's been a lot of great backs here at Delaware over the years. Obviously, Joe Silver is a Doak Walker watch list guy.
Marker spins it, but throws it high and out of bounds, looking for Sean Wilson. And it was Wilson who caught that first pass of the game, not Duplessis.
And here you're starting to see Coach Carty offense playing with a little speed, but back to Joe Silver, a guy that's such a north-south runner, but it's a great wiggle both outside of the tackle box and inside of the tackle box. He's poised for a really big season.
Now another 3rd down for Delaware. They converted on their first. Marker. It's caught, but it looks like it's going to be short a yard. And now decision time. Ryan Carty to go for it a season ago, averaged 3 4th down tries per game a year ago.
Yeah, a really nice pitch and catch here to Nicholas LeBoy. Just a little short. Coach Carty is known to go for it often. This is a great down and distance for him to line up. And
it'll be Marker who keeps the drive alive, keeping it himself. Delaware on 62% of their 4th down tries last season as a member of the FBS.
Yeah, a really nice look here. Gives the defense a lot to visualize. Can give it to the back. Marker obviously pulls it, keeps it, gets north and south. Forward for a big first down, and then you're back with some tempo here right on the football.
Marker, screen pass dropped by Jakari Kelly, the junior from Gainesville, Florida. So 2 short passes. Screens both incomplete so far for the Hens.
Yeah, and screen draws, delays are such a staple in this offense for the Delaware Blue Hens. We're going to see a lot of these. It's early in the season. You're still trying to work out the timing, work out the kinks, but I expect Delaware to continue to do what they think they can do best.
Marker this time to sideline. The boy caught the last one, couldn't hold on to that one near the DSU sideline, and again Delaware at 3rd down.
Yeah, and now you're 3rd and 10. You're behind the chains. You know, you don't need all 10 necessarily here with just going for it on 4th down. I think if you can get 7 or 8 yards here, you may consider, hey, we're not kicking a field goal from this far out. We have 2 downs here to run a play here that doesn't necessarily have to get across the sticks.
So the tight end Whithoff in motion, dumping it down to Duplessis, and he bobbles it at midfield. 4th down and 10. The punt unit will come on for the University of Delaware. They lost their punter from a season ago to injury in Josh Cupid. So Brendan Locke, the transfer from Michigan Tech, an All-American at the Division II level a season ago, will punt things away.
Yeah, another unfortunate drop pass there for the Delaware offense, but a really interesting story here. Oh, and we have our first time out of the season.
Hornets weren't able to return that punt. And so we'll have to wait a moment, but when we come back, it'll be the first look of the Delaware State offense under an offensive superstar, Deshaun Jackson. Delaware Stadium. A beautiful night for some football. Brendan Locke punting away after Delaware goes 10 plays, 24 and gives it up, and Del State almost gave it right back to the Hens. A muffed punt, but they got under it at the 1.
Well, Coach Deshaun Jackson, one of the NFL's most prolific punt returners of all time, cannot be thrilled to see this. We met with the staff earlier in the week, and they emphasized how much time he spends with the wide receivers, the punt returners. This is those missed assignments, a critical error, things that you really cannot have happen if you're a Delaware State team coming in here to Delaware Stadium to play the Blue Hens tonight. But with that being said, we get our first look at Caden Bennett, the quarterback for the Hornets. Had a prolific career at Sacramento State. His transfer in this season is a full tool quarterback. Can run it, can throw it. A really nice weapon, and this is an interesting formation out of the gate here for the Hornets.
Well, he's going to have to go 98 yards if he wants to score on his first drive as a Delaware State Hornet. They got a little bit of room. Marquise Gish is back from an injury that kept most of last year. He's a Delaware native, graduate student. Only 7 attempts a season ago. Only played in 2 games because of a knee injury, but they really like Gillis and are glad he's returned to the lineup.
And this only magnifies it being backed up here. The Delaware student section out in full force. Not exactly how you want to start your first possession of the season. Backed up with a hostile crowd.
They'll keep it on the ground. And now 3rd and long for Delaware State. Caden Bennett, as you mentioned, the quarterback of Sacramento State. Hornet is to go, still a Hornet. And this time with a New Jersey.
And big Keyshawn Hunter in there, the graduate student, has had a really nice career here at Delaware after transferring from Old Dominion. He's so physical up front. Had a boatload of sacks last year. Here we can see the student section rocking.
It is packed back there in the south end zone on 3rd down. Bennett lofts it. No one home. And Del State is going to go 3 and out.
A good 3 and out here because you don't give up a safety. You don't give up a turnover. You give your defense the opportunity here. We're going to punt the football and protect a little bit. And here we get a pretty nice look at Caden Bennett's arm here. You know, it's probably a 2-way go, a stop, or we can run a seam. And looks like a slight miscommunication. Maybe he thought the cornerback was even with him. So now backed up punt. Critical here to make sure you get the punt off.
Jake Thal, second-team All-CAA return man a year ago, is back. Roberts gets it off. It'll bounce. And Delaware's offense will have some excellent field position. Their second go-round when they come back onto the field. We'll take time out. It's a Route 1 rivalry on Opening night in Newark. Delaware's offense back on the field after 10 plays and a punt on their opening drive. It'll be Marker again. He's got time. Now he's going to run with the football. He'll pick up first down yardage. That must feel great for Zach Marker after the injury last season really hampered his running ability. I said the magic word, and unfortunately, now Zach is down.
You know, you hate to see this here. You can see they're trying to set up a big play, an X play, 20-plus yards, and Marker does a great job of saying, hey, there's nothing there, tucks it, gets a first down, but not sure if it's on the hit or on a cut, but you hate to see that second possession of the game. Quarterback that's had some injury issues in the past. Here, look at Nick Minicucci, who's played a lot of football games here for the Blue Hens. Is a prolific passer, maybe a little less of a mobility than Zach Marker, but a quarterback that's won some football games here. You just hate to see this for Zach Marker here, getting ready to come off to the sideline with what appears to be an injury.
Oh, you feel so much for Zach Marker, who has struggled with injuries throughout his time at Delaware. The entire quarterback room last season just struck with injuries throughout this season. And he came back a season ago after an ACL surgery to return and play quarterback at Delaware. And this was going to be his season to lead from the beginning. And on the first play of the second drive of the game, marker seemingly out, it'll be Nick Minicucci coming in.
And we had a nice picture there, Cardi getting Nick ready. He knows that Nick is prepared. He has a deep quarterback room. This offensive staff does a terrific job of making sure that everybody is ready to play when their name is called upon. And here is Nick's pretty early with 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
Unfortunately for Delaware, they are very used to having to sub in quarterbacks due to injury. Minicucci looking, throws high for Thal. He had Jake at the 22, but another pass.
Yeah, he has Jake here if he pulls the trigger early. I really actually like this by Coach Cardi to let's get Nick out on the run. Let's get a throw out of the way so he can kind of get into the game. If he pulls the trigger here early, he's got Jake Thal that really has the ability to catch the ball field, really run into the end zone. So just a timing.
No score, second drive, and first completion of the season for Nick Minicucci. And that's Sean Wilson. And his touchdowns per reception stats are going way down now because last season, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns as a freshman.
Yeah, and he's such a big play threat for them, and here they toss it back out to him again to get the ball in his hands. The Hornets swarm, and that's something that we met with Coach Boynton early in the week with the Delaware State defensive. They want to have a swarm mentality where they're getting multiple hats to the football. And did a really good job there of getting over there and making the play.
Now 4th down for Delaware. They're 1 of 1 converting on 4th down. Part of a Coach Cardi offense is you're going to play the analytics. Whoever gives you the best chance to win a football game. Here it's going for it on 4th down, and they'll convert to Jake Thal.
Yeah, a really nice timing pass here by Nick Minicucci to Jake Thal. Lets him clear on the in route. Throws it right between the numbers. And you're starting to see the first couple passes out of Nick were a little high. He might now just finally be kind of settling in, breaking a sweat, getting a lather to make some plays for the Hens.
Give is to Joe Silver as he gets inside the red zone, and the Blue Hens taking advantage of what was a muff punt Delaware State that backed them up and then getting a punt to start in their own territory.
Really nice end zone shot here of Joe Silver, bringing it back across the off the backside, and just gets tripped up there, or he might be running into the end zone.
On 2nd down, Minicucci too wide, looking for Duplessis, and another 3rd down for Delaware. This is the 5th 3rd down of the game in the first 2 drives for the Hens.
Yeah, and it's a good target to Duplessis, who we think in our communications with the staff this week is really poised to be probably wide out number 1 for the Hens this season. I expect Nick Minicucci to 19's way a lot this evening as a guy that can be in coordination with Jake Thal as guys that are going to catch the football and make plays for us.
8th play of the drive, 3rd down. Minicucci tucks, head down, charges through, and picks up the first to the 10-yard line. Will be first and go.
Yeah, and one thing you're definitely going to see, and we talked about it when Nick came in the game, is we're going to run as an offense the things that we think we can do well. This is a similar play that we saw Zach Marker run before he was out of the game with an injury for a 4th down.
Minicucci looking, throwing. Silver dropped the football. It's picked up by the Hornets. And a yard away from a score for Delaware turns into the first turnover of the ball game. Delaware State taking over.
We're going to get another look here. I'm sure the replay booth will also be looking at this to see if there is full control of this reception by Silver. Going to probably have to see a few more angles, but if you're Delaware State, this is exactly what you wanted to have happen here, to come in here and cause a turnover. That swarm defense, a bunch of guys getting a hat on the football to force a turnover. And it looks like the offense is running out, and it stands as is. A huge turnover.
Thought we saw Corpoy knock it loose, and then Deshaun Jackson picked it up and ran it out to the 21-yard line. So the first turnover of the football game belongs to the Delaware Blue Hens. They were +7 in turnover margin, top 20 in FCS a season ago.
Interested to see play here out of the gate.
Bennett, nowhere to go. He's back down, brought down, and that's Gavin Mole, who led Delaware in tackles a season ago.
Yeah, Gavin Mole, a really prolific linebacker, guy that finds his way to the football. Was interested to see if Delaware State was going to maybe try some kind of big play to knock off an X play. Got Caden Bennett in the opportunity to pull it, keep it. He pulled it, and Gavin Mole was not surprised and made a really nice tackle there for loss.
Delaware State keeps it on the ground.
Play's over. Over.
Play was over, says the referee.
And that's big Keyshawn Hunter in the middle, mixing it up.
Now we got, there we go.
See flags.
The referee, Rory Bernard, was coming in on the huddle.
And that's
or on the tackle, excuse me, trying to break up players.
That's all I do. Unsportsmanlike. I'm going to go.
Number 69 for the Hornets, Justice Johnson, trying to block number 9, Keyshawn Hunter. And Keyshawn's a big man, a hard man to move. And this is something we knew coming into it.
Conduct. Offense, number 16. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 9. Those fouls offset. This will be the first unsportsmanlike foul of the game toward disqualification for both players.
And on the point I was just making, Delaware State felt like up front, those are their guys. That's their big unit. They have some really big guys across the top. Elijah Payne, 6'8". Antoine Delau, 6'7". So they're a physical group up front. We got a sneak peek of it already right there.
3rd down and 9 for Delaware State after the offsetting penalty. No score over halfway through the first quarter. Bennett. Pass is caught, breaking free, running for first down yardage. DSU picks up the 10 they needed.
A great play in open field here. They just swing it out to the back, who's able to make Gavin Mole miss, who doesn't miss a ton of tackles. KT Say comes in a little late to make the play.
And that's James Jones. As DSU now moving quickly. Some more chippiness up front after the play is over.
And if you're Delaware defense right now, let's take a breath. Let's make a stop. Let's make a tackle for loss, something that can slow this down a little bit for us.
Up the gut, pounding through. They needed 6, and they got 6 more yards. So DSU putting together a drive here after the turnover.
Yeah, starting to play with a little tempo as well, which has obviously got the Delaware defense a bit on their heels. This is just right behind the center.
Big hole this time for Marquise Gillis, and his offense on the ground looking very nice for Deshaun Jackson's ball club.
Yeah, they're confident with their guys. This looks like they just ran the exact same play again. Goes off Justice Johnson's backside for a big gasher.
Marquise Gillis' 4th carry already.
Delaware looks like they're having some trouble getting aligned on defense.
We'll go to Gillis as they swing it to him. He'll try to run for first down yardage, and he'll make it close. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, Marquise Gillis from Milford, an in-state kid. It's a big first down. If you're Coach Jackson and the offensive staff, you got to be thrilled with how this drive has started and progressed.
And they were backed up so far in their opening drive.
Right.
They couldn't really put a whole lot of offense together. Now you get the turnover. You start the drive at the 22-yard line, and you're moving into Delaware territory. This pass is caught down the sideline for DSU. And another First down. In rhythm are the Hornets on their second of the day.
Terrence Roan makes a big play here. You know, you almost have to wonder a little bit, with this being the first game of the season, no tape on either team, of what you're really going to get. Feels like Delaware's getting here a little bit out of the gate.
And it is a surprise for Delaware. And that first game is always a little bit more about your team than it is the other team. But really, Deshaun Jackson doesn't even have tape from a previous school. Unless you're watching what I'm sure is some grainy video from Wilson High School in California, where he was the OC a season ago. So you're not really sure what they're going to be coming out with.
Empty set here. We've gotten a lot of different looks from this offense.
The quarterback from Reno, Nevada, Caden Bennett, checks with the sideline.
Looks like we're getting another timeout.
Play clock was at 0, so we'll take a timeout with DSU. Their second first quarter, back in a moment on ESPN+. Defense, and they can put together a drive. This will be the 10th play coming up.
Yeah, when we met with Coach Nemo Washington, the offensive coordinator, he was so excited to be able to give his guys the opportunity to go out and execute, and so far they have here, Scott.
On second down, pass is caught, and it's Delaware swarming to the football to take a mantra out of the DSU defensive playbook.
In a very timely play for the Delaware defense, brings up 3rd and long. A 3-by empty set. We're going to run an internal screen there. A bunch of Blue Hens rally to the football. A huge down, obviously, for both DSU and UD here. If you're Delaware, man, you would love to just get a stop here, stop the bleeding a little bit, be able to come back to the sideline, regroup of what you've seen.
We got a ways to go now after that loss of yardage. Pressure coming. Bennett hit, stays up, not long. That's the captain, Dylan Traynor.
Dylan Traynor, a bunch of pressure here. Blitz coming. He's one of the original blitzers, gets kind of knocked off his line, stays in the play, makes a huge tackle. Great play and a huge stop for the Delaware defense.
That timeout with the play clock winding down really hurt the momentum of DSU. They take the break, and back-to-back plays, they go backwards. It's now 4th and 24, and they'll have to punt.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Not the worst to give in Dyson Roberts, a transfer from South Carolina State.
Yeah, not the worst at all there, Scott. It's much better than not having guys on the same page. And you're going to see a lot of this throughout all of week 1 across all of college football. Teams are rusty. It's the first game of the year. Let's make sure we get aligned and execute the play.
Second punt of the day. Caught by Jake Thaw, and it is great to have someone so steady back there for the Blue Hens on special team.
He really is. He's a terrific punt returner, does a great job of fielding the football, which is such an important trait in a punt returner. You see it all over across all levels of football where guys just don't field the punt. The punt hits and rolls, and you waste 20, 30 yards. It's really simple. Get under it and catch the ball. As we're getting another look here, Nick Minicucci coming for a really important drive here if you're the University of Delaware, with only a $1:18 here on the first quarter clock.
No score in the first quarter of action. Nick Minicucci, the quarterback. Byron Ellison gets his first touch as a Delaware Blue Hen. The transfer from Tulsa rushed for 353 yards a season ago, and the sophomore from Dallas, Texas, with the first carry.
Yeah, very excited about what Ellison can bring to the backfield in a kind of 1-2 punch with Joe Silver. Obviously getting a series here of work.
Minicucci to the air. Far side of the field, it's caught. Another 3rd down for Delaware, and that's Nicholas LeBoy's second catch of the game. Transferred from Cornell, where he had a lot of success 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, just a simple hitch route here out to LeBoy, who's able to make a play. Brings up a third and manageable, but this feels like a must conversion if you're Delaware.
Nick Minicucci at quarterback. Zach Marker got the start, and he was injured on his first rushing attempt of the game. In comes Nick Minicucci. It's a start he knows all too well. On the run towards the sideline, Brandon Raymond with his first catch as a hand. Came over from West Virginia, and he'll have enough to move the chain.
Yeah, this is a really nice sprint out play here by Coach Carty. Gives Nick Minicucci a couple windows to look at. A really nice tiptoe grab here for a first down.
We've got 1 quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter. Timeout.
No score, though, here at Delaware Stadium. It's a Route 1 rivalry on ESPN. Overflow seating in the student section at Delaware Stadium on open night. It is rocking, and the Hens looking to give them a little bit to cheer about as we start the second quarter with no score, and the Hens on the field. It'll be Ellison trying to do that, but not on the first play of the second quarter at least. Full stadium packed in the student section in the south end zone. Overflow seating in sections N and M. The students are out and rocking here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't want to be outside taking in a football game tonight. I mean, this is late September weather that we're getting here. This is really a beautiful night and a great way to kick off the college football season.
You know what else gets the students out? I'll tell you, after Nick Minicucci drops back to pass, it's going to be a penalty flag down, but a pass caught at midfield. Jakari Kelly went up to get it.
I think, unfortunately, this is coming back for a hold, but a really nice pitch and catch.
Holding. Yeah. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
That's Noah Roshak, the transfer from Syracuse. His first game as a Delaware Blue Hen. It negates what was a beautiful pitch and catch for 24 yards from Nick Minicucci to Jakari Kelly. The student section, Fritz. Ryan Carty buying pizza for everybody.
Hey, what's better than free pizza? I mean, come on.
Not much when you're a college student.
Oh, I bet there's a lot of college kids down there that are absolutely thrilled with Coach Carty.
Interim athletic director George Skolnick chipping in as well. And the crowd out here. And now the back to Elijah Sessoms with his first catch. And the tight end group, an interesting story for these Delaware Blue Hens. After day 1 of training camp, they lose Caleb Fourier, who decides to retire. He was their main receiver at that position, but it added some reps for guys like Elijah Sessoms and Connor Woodall.
Offside. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
Yeah, Elijah Sessoms is a guy that's played in a lot of football games here at the University of Delaware and is really poised to take that next big step, be a weapon both as a blocker and as a pass catcher. And tight end, such a difficult position. You have to know everything that the offensive line is doing from a scheme perspective and then be instrumental in the pass game as well.
From right near the campus of Delaware State, Dover, Delaware native is Elijah Sessoms. After the penalty, it's Minicucci, ball in the air, nearly intercepted, but out of the grasp of the Delaware State Hornets. That would have been the second turnover of the night already for the Hens.
Yeah, we're going to get a nice picture here in Nick's arm strength that he tries to rip one in there. Still a little bit high on his passes so far this evening. If that ball's a little lower, maybe around LeBoy's, and I think he has a higher percentage to come down with that catch.
Third down, 14 yards to go for Nick Minicucci. He's back to that student section. Steps up, has some space. Doesn't have anyone open, though. And rushes towards the sideline. At the 33, just shy. So it'll be 4th down and 2 yards to go. He picks up about 12 of the 14 they needed.
A really nice tuck and run. I just now seeing the punt unit run onto the field, but Nick does a good job of scrolling, trying to get to the first down, just a couple yards short. Interesting call. I was curious if Coach Carty was thinking about maybe trying to get a little juice into his offense. Go for it on 4th down.
Nathan Stewart will be back to return. Brendan Locke cleanly gets it off. And it'll be Delaware State football when we come back. Still nothing here at Delaware Stadium.
Student debt. Learn more visiting 529.delaware.gov.
Crowd's loving it. Not quite in love with the score quite yet, though, here at Delaware Stadium. Nothing. Delaware back on offense. Not only is Deshaun Jackson the head coach of this Del State team, Clinton Portis on the coaching staff, coaching in that running back group. They got to be proud of what their offense has done so far in this one. Caden Bennett with some time, incomplete. How about that? You go to Delaware State University, and now all of a sudden you've got two of some all-timers coaching you up.
Yeah, it's pretty unique, really, for a college program to have that much NFL talent on the rosters. We get a nice replay here. Bennett and the receiver. But not only that, the offensive coordinator, Nemo Washington, spending last season with the Browns, some of his mentors that he shared with us, Deuce Staley, obviously a great running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin Stefanski, the coach of the Browns. There's a lot of guys with a lot of experience on this Delaware State team.
Clinton Portis going to be proud of this one. Rumbling down into Delaware territory is Marquis Gillis, the graduate student from here in Delaware, a Milford native.
And I feel like this, without seeing the replay, we have this is a little draw delay with lets the blocking take advantage up front where he's able to just puncture and go right off Justice Johnson's behind again. I mean, these are puncture big plays, and the Delaware defense is absolutely reeling right now.
Some momentum for the Hornets, so keep it on the ground. James Jones, a transfer from Louisiana Monroe, where he had 336 yards a season ago. That was a 31-yard rush.
It's getting a little chippy again, and we'll get a really good look of some of the big boys up front for Delaware State. And if you're Delaware, you need one of your guys. You need Gavin Mole. You need a Dylan Trainer, somebody to step up, make a big play, a turnover, a tackle for loss, maybe another sack that we saw Dylan make a couple series ago. Somebody's going to have to be the leader on the defense, and this is what you get in an opening week. Could be Scott, who's a very good defender for the Hens.
3 plays, 33 yards thus far for Delaware State, and they've had play clock issues twice now in the first
prior to the
football game.
Timeout, Delaware State. Their third and final timeout of the half. Media timeout.
No more timeouts for Delaware State. Take one right here at Delaware Stadium. The Hornets driving, no score in Newark. Caden Bennett didn't want to wait for the commercial break to end to get started as he tossed one. He was looking for the home run pass from the 40-yard line. It's incomplete. Great coverage that time by the Delaware Blue Hens.
Yeah, Nate Evans with really nice coverage. Delaware's going to bring a blitz, which doesn't give Bennett a ton of time. He's got to toss one up. It's a really nice pass. It's better defense by Nate Evans, the senior from Virginia Beach, Virginia, an NC State transfer who the Hens are extremely on. Brings up 3rd and long, Scott. Need a stop if you're the Hens.
Hornets 1 of 3 on 3rd down tonight. It'll be Bennett. He's got to beat Price. Does so and picks up the first. Oh, he might mark a little short. It was a tough. It's going to be close.
And certainly here, if you're Delaware State, doesn't look like they're punting. Here you get a real look at Bennett's legs. He beats Kyer Price off to the edge. And it looks like he does step out just a touch short.
Quickly to the line on 4th down. A yard.
The previous play is under further review to determine if the runner made the line of game.
So they will take a look at the run by Caden Bennett. It was a push out by Nair Domini, the junior from Jersey City, New Jersey, a place Ryan Carty, the state of New Jersey, recruits so well from. And how about Deshaun Jackson? We talked to Deshaun earlier in the week. He was great to spend some time with us and told some great stories about inspiration. We asked him, why now? Why Delaware State? And he said he called who he thinks of as a second father to me, Reed. His big brother, Deion Sanders,
Yeah.
who the Hens will know a thing about next week when they go to Colorado. And Sean McVay. Remember, Deshaun Jackson was a member of that Super Bowl winning Rams team in 2022 prior to the playoffs. Didn't stay with him the whole ride. But those were his three most influential people that got him to say yes.
Yeah, and first and foremost, Coach can go with the drip here. I mean, come on. But to your point, Scott, you know, we asked him, Coach, what made you come and leave high school and come to Delaware State? What made you want to do this? And it really was just, I felt like he had given his all to the NFL and was ready to figure out what he was going to do next.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. 4th down.
He really was looking, what am I going to do next? So I'm coaching high school football. He had turned Delaware State down. He told us, he was pretty frank about it twice. And finally said, you know, I've gotten so much from my mentors and the people that helped me in my life that it's now my turn to do the same. And he's really doing that down in Dover at Delaware State University.
Well, third time was the charm for Delaware State, calling up Deshaun Jackson. We'll see if 4th down is the charm for Delaware State. Caden Bennett waiting the snap from the big fella from Virginia, Justice Johnson. They need a yard. And Gillis gives a yard and a whole lot more. First season, first score goes to Delaware State University. And the first touchdown under Deshaun Jackson comes from 33 yards out.
Marquise Gillis, the Milford, Delaware product, patient, punctures, scores. Huge play.
Holding. Offense.
It's coming
Number
back.
69.
Oh, it's
10 yards
coming
penalty
back.
from the foul. The play still results in a first down.
And so there's a hold there late that Justice Johnson probably doesn't need to make. We missed the flag here. Maybe we'll get a look of it here on the replay. He picks hops over off of Keyshawn Hunter, and then he does. He grabs Gavin Mole, and those hands are outside. He's grabbing a lot of jersey there. That's a nice see by the umpire, which obviously spurs the touchdown.
It was after he picked up the yard, I suppose, because they're giving him first down yardage, but it negates a huge burst from Marquise Gillis. And now we have a new quarterback in for Delaware State. That's Jaden Salray, the transfer from Maryland. And we talked with Coach Nemo Washington earlier in the week. He said you might see two quarterbacks play in this one.
Yeah, not only two for, you know, I'm playing quarterback now it's my turn, but two on the field at the exact same time. So we felt like we might see a lot of different wrinkles. This is an interesting time in this possession to bring in another cue.
What a penalty that is for Delaware State. Because now Jones spinning out of would-be tacklers. Gets to the sideline. I'll tell you, Delaware State is bringing the energy on the road in this Route 1 rivalry.
Bringing the energy and really executing their offense.
Out for an injured player.
Maybe even more important as we have what appears
investment options for you.
Works for us. The right money moves.
Third down for Delaware State. Bennett in some trouble. Finds a man, bobbled, caught. First down yardage in the red zone for the Hornets. Way to hang on to that one. Marquise Gillis has been the best offensive player of the night thus far.
100%. And when we met with Coach Jackson earlier in the week, was we get another look at the bobble. Was let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. Let's worry about what we do and let's go execute. And the Hornets 100% here are executing through the start of this game.
10th play of the drive coming up. A touchdown run of 43 yards by Gillis was negated by a hold on Justice Johnson. But the drive continues. Option play. Nowhere to go. Delaware had it, but making a little something out of nothing was James Jones.
Another interesting set here, two-back set. Able to flick it out to Jones. There's a lot of action here with this Delaware State offense, which I think is really throwing up the Hens defense a bit for a loop of not really knowing what we see here for the opener and just a lot of moving parts, is got this defense on its heels.
8:30. Second quarter of football. Delaware State driving, trying to get on the board first. A flag will mark this one down.
Likely a false start.
Start. Offense. Number 70. Yard penalty. Second down.
I got good news and I got bad news for you, Fritz. 70 is a player that was down when we went to break. He's feeling okay, but the bad news is he just committed that flag.
Yeah, and these are the kind of penalties that do really kill you if you're Delaware State. It's what we just said a few minutes ago about, hey, we're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot. We're going to be a great conditioned team. And penalties like that, while we know we're going to see them, it's week one, are really a drive killer, and it brings up second and long. Be interested to see what Caden Bennett has here as far as some poise to go and execute this play here.
Fourth penalty of the day for Delaware State. Over the middle, behind his intended target.
And if you're Delaware's defense, you're thrilled that this is a bit behind them, because if this ball is caught, this is running into the end zone for a touchdown for the Hornets. Brings up third and long.
Julius Dominguez was the intended man. Falls incomplete on the 12th play of the drive. It'll be third down, 14 yards to go for Delaware State. 5 wide receivers. Bennett going to tuck, run. Flag is thrown as he gets close to the 15.
Holding. Offense. Number 5. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Third down.
And attention to detail, so important. Ryan earlier in the week called it ATD. The first game of the season. Are you going to be a little sloppy? Are you going to be a little bit more disciplined? And right now, DSU not disciplined with all those penalties. Really hurting them on the offensive end.
Yeah, Diu Dow there with the penalty. And again, now you're third in a country mile, which is not a down and distance either program wants to have. But if you're Delaware State, the key here is it's third and 24. Let's not turn this football over. We've had a very successful drive. Let's try to capitalize with something here, but let's not make a critical mistake.
On third and 24, Bennett tucks, cuts, and gets a lot of it back, but it's going to be fourth down. Maybe you get yourself into kicking range for the transfer Patrick Fisher-Butler.
Yeah, we're going to get here. Caden Bennett obviously tucks it pretty quickly. A lot of guys that had to get pretty far down the field. The field goal unit has come on, but a really successful drive to give the offense the ability to put the first points of the season up on the board for the Delaware State Hornets. And here we have a guy running on late. Again, week one, you're going to who's on field goal? Well, I think Antoine Delau probably is usually on field goal, is now out, so who's his backup?
Shane Carter is a true freshman. He's a long snap. Robert will hold for Patrick Fisher-Butler. And a Delaware State strikes first. 3-0 is the score as the field goal is good on the first try of the season. There are a lot of shocked fans right now at Delaware Stadium.
Yeah, it's a packed house, as you said, Scott. Delaware State striking first. Coach Jackson's got to be thrilled with what that drive was able to materialize. And if you're on the other sideline, Coach Carty and his staff, guys, we have 6:46. We have all our timeouts. Time is of no issue. Let's put together our own successful drive, and let's go put 6, then 7, maybe even 8 with Coach Carty, how often he likes to go for 2 on the scoreboard. Get ourselves into half with something to build on for the second half.
Ryan Carty, one of the great minds on offenses. Gonna have to get his offense going here, down 13 plays, 50 yards, 6:12 off the clock on that drive. It was finished on a 40-yard kick by Patrick Fisher-Butler. He missed both tries a season ago at Charleston Southern, but knocked that one through. And now Delaware will have Jakari Kelly as the deep man back.
Delaware obviously as the staff that's been together longer here, you expect them to be able to get their guys to settle in a little bit. Hey, we caught a punch on the chin. Let's make sure that we step up and bounce back and go execute our game plan.
Del State, after getting on the board with the field goal, in the end zone and a touchback. So Delaware's defense will come back onto the field with Nick Minacucci, and it was Zach Marker who got the start. He was injured on a scramble. He picked up a first down, and you feel for Zach Marker because he worked so hard to get him back to 100% health. So Minacucci is in. But these two were battling all camp. This is not like a guy that's further down on the depth chart. It was 1A and 1B for sure.
Right.
As Ryan Carty and his staff went through divvy snaps.
Yeah, Nick's played in 15 games. He finished the season last year with 5 straight starts. He's an experienced player.
And he tosses one complete at the 40. The 45-yard line. You like to see that on the first play of the drive. Sean Wilson with his third catch of the night.
Yeah, Sean Wilson, a nice pitch, a nice catch, a little rhythm. Let's get this offense into a little bit of a mode. We have a little bit of tempo here. Things that I'm not surprised that Coach Carty came out and is execute.
Minacucci going to throw again. There's one caught on the far side of the field by Kyrie Duplessis. Coach Carty really likes Duplessis. Played several seasons at Coastal Carolina. 39 games coming into this season. But Carty's saying you gotta see what he can do in a game, though, and he's had a good start.
He certainly has a great X receiver, a guy that can play outside the numbers and make a lot of big plays.
To the air again, Minacucci lobbing this time, and what a catch on the far sideline.
Austin Q there can make a lot of big plays. Kyrie Duplessis makes a wonderful one-handed grab here as we get another look at this one. The Hens are back up on the ball, playing fast.
Minacucci slings it. Silver catches the ball, and the Hens are driving, looking to answer after going down 3-0.
Yeah, and that's the kind of play from Kyrie Duplessis that really gets the juice going, gets a little mojo, gets a little rhythm. The Hens are playing really, really fast here.
First and goal to go from the 10. Silver crashing hard inside the 5.
A great physical run by Joe Silver. Delaware State's defense is obviously reeling. They're on their heels. We're going to get a nice look at this.
He's illegal formation. Offense. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Both of these teams now having penalties that have hurt momentum. Delaware was on the go. First and goal to go, and that one will send them backwards to the 15.
Yeah, when we met with Coach Carty, we knew we would see misalignments, mistakes like this, and it's just how can you not magnify it? And you have them, that ball's on the 2-yard line. Joe Silver off Pat Shup's block there, and here you are, goal from the 15. It's a challenge now. This ball in the end zone with another flag.
Clock out to 0, I believe. Saw that happen a few times. Delaware State saved it by calling timeout. They're out of timeouts, are the Hornets, but
false start.
Nope.
Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Back-to-back penalties for a team that was first in the CAA a season ago in terms of least penalized football team.
Yeah, and that's on Noah Roshak, the Syracuse transfer. That's his second one. Guy filling in here tonight, right tackle. Top 100 guard from 2024. Good player. Just got to lock in.
Minacucci pumps, looks, fires, caught. That's the big fella in the middle of the field, Elijah Cecil.
And Nick Minacucci's going to do a terrific job here of being patient. He doesn't like his first read. He knows he's got Sessions, who's a consistent player, who's going to take a big hit from Nathan Stewart. Sorry, that's Christian Grant, the safety.
Sessum's in motion now. Minacucci going to keep at the 5. Minacucci head down, powers in.
And you can see how fired up the Hens are there. What a physical run by Nick Minicucci. He absolutely juiced. That was a quick answer, Scott. That was less than 3 minutes, I think, there in that drive. Big chunk X plays. Brings Sessoms in motion. Doesn't like it. Maybe it's a draw right off the bat, and I think it actually is. With Fitan Bros up front. And what a finish. What a finish by Nick Minicucci to get that ball into the end zone.
That is something that Delaware preaches, and he is fired up. Finish. Delaware talks about that all the time, and what a play to get Delaware back and on for the first time. See Nate Reed with the extra point try.
The previous play is under further review to determine if the goal line was crossed.
Well, I think this one will be fairly quick by our vantage point up here in the box, Scott. I think this is a clear-cut touchdown, but maybe we missed something like the...
Now, all scoring plays are reviewed, but I didn't think this one was in need of anything extra. We'll take a look here as you just Sessom went in motion, and Minicucci. Yeah, this is one of the toughest guys you're going to find, and you're seeing it right here.
Yeah, it is a straight draw. Boy, he's not even lower than the lower man, and yeah, I think he's on top of Christian Garrett there. I don't see a knee down from that angle by any means.
Kind of a shrug as Coach Ryan Carty talks with Chris Stewart. He's saying that's an easy one.
Yeah, and Chris Stewart's got to be happy about that one. That's
the strength coach.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, as Bill Parcells used to say, you lift those damn weights over the summer. Let's go and put it on the football field, and Nick Minicucci did right there.
After review, the ruling on the field of a touchdown is upheld.
8-yard touchdown for Nick Minicucci. And he was fired up after that one, rightfully so. Delaware goes down to a team they're highly favored, a team that they've never lost to. And they march down the field, 6 plays, 75 yards. It takes only 3:02 off of the clock. Locke will hold, Vitko will snap it. And Nate Reed, who was 35 of 39 a season ago, gets through. The Blue Hens lead it 7-3. That's how you want to answer, Fritz.
It's 100% how you want to answer. Now you got to kind of keep an eye on the clock here with 3:44 left. If Delaware can get a stop, Delaware State doesn't have any timeouts left, as we've talked about. I'm sure Coach Carty was a little perturbed to have to stop his game planning to see if that was actually a touchdown on review, because he's looking to get this go score again before halftime. But a great answer, a huge drive, some big X plays like we've been talking about.
And we mentioned the series history. Delaware has never lost to Delaware State, 11-0. The series history sponsored by Easter Seeds, serving all ages and all abilities throughout Delaware. Two teams first met in the playoffs in 2007. That was a 44-7 victory for Delaware. That was in 2007. The quarterback for Delaware that night, still a starting quarterback in the NFL, Joe Flacco. That's pretty impressive.
That's as good as it gets for Joe. It's really great to see him and have such a successful NFL career. Former Super Bowl MVP is obviously going to be starting next weekend for the Cleveland Browns.
100th career kickoff for Nate Reed. Most of the time when Nate Reed is kicking things off, you don't even have to have anybody back to return. He booted 47 touchbacks a season ago. That's a school record. So Delaware State's offense will come back out onto the field. 100 yards of total offense so far for DSU, 82 of those on the ground. I've been impressed with Marquise Gillis. This is a guy that Delaware State has been waiting to come back healthy. Big campaign 2 seasons ago. He was the MEAC Rookie of the Year in 2022, and now tonight, 6 carries, 53 yards, and that didn't count the 33-yard touchdown that was called back to the hole.
No, it's you're absolutely right, Scott, and he's had a great first half. I'm surprised for Delaware State that we haven't seen Ryan Pelham, who...
Delay of game. Offense. Yard penalty. First down.
Can't have that. After a kickoff, sails into the end zone, you got to have your groupings ready. You got to get out there and snap the football. Too many penalties right now for Delaware State. You can't continue to kick yourself in the foot against an FBS program.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of getting the ball in their playmakers' hands. But, you know, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And that's just, those are backbreakers. You know, it'd be a 7-7 game if we don't have that penalty on Justice Johnson for Gillis's touchdown.
It was a forward pass. It was close, but it was a forward pass to Kobe Boykin that falls incomplete. Caden Bennett his 10th try of the night.
Not only that, it stops the clock. So the clock is, for Coach Carty and for Coach Jackson here, the clock is in play and something that's in the back of the mind at all times here. Hey, that took 2-3 seconds off the clock. We're now 2nd and 15 because of the penalty. If you're Delaware, you're poised here to make a big stop to get this football back with plenty of time and timeouts to go score again.
And that 2-minute time as well, as Delaware stuffs the Hornets on 2nd down, and over 2 minutes is a lifetime for a Ryan Carty offense. They have X plays, explosive plays. We haven't seen it tonight, the one big catch we saw from Duplessis, but don't give Ryan Carty time to operate on the offensive side.
No, he needs about 15 seconds to get the ball all the way down the field. How long can you sprint from end zone to end zone, you know? But that's a nice play there by Gavin Mole. Brings up 3rd and 12. If you're Delaware State, you're tick, 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 tick. Let's get as much time off of that clock as possible, but let's also not make a critical turnover here as well.
Pressure coming, the blue and gold. It gets it off, sails it high, and it'll be 4th down and 12 with a lot of football left in this first half. As
I think that's big Keyshawn Hunter getting chippy again down there, but
like Justice Johnson.
Illegal formation. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Correction. The penalty's declined. Plays 4th down.
Yeah, smart move by Coach Carty there to decline that one. That makes a lot of sense. They're punting this football anyways. 2:50 left on the clock. Jake returned this punt. He's really an explosive, good punt returner. Be interested to see if they give him the green light to catch this one and run with it.
I was going to say Keyshawn Hunter was in the mix there after play with Justice Johnson. Justice looked like he took a little dive there trying to get the penalty against the Hens, and that's what Keyshawn was talking about with the officiating crew.
Almost looked like the Deshaun Jackson miracle at the Meadowlands 2 dive into the end zone backward. That's what that looked like to me. What a punt.
Thal is under it. Makes a move. Can't get out of the grip of the second man there on special teams. Kenneth Everett with the stop. So that's a good punt for Dyson Roberts. He had a 72-yard punt a season ago at Georgia Southern.
Hey, that was exactly what kind of punt you want to have if you're Delaware State. that thing looked like an old teammate of mine, Ed Wagner's, that spiral. That thing went flying, and it's a really nice play by Jake Thal to make it. Talked about it earlier. Field the football. Gives them the ability here to have the ball not totally backed up within the 10. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Delaware have the entire play open as Coach Carty has got a deep one, and we're going to go try score here if you're the Delaware Blue Hens.
3 timeouts plus a 2-minute timeout. Plenty of time on the clock for Delaware, but Minicucci is dropped. That's Quincy Robinson, the graduate student from Wilmington, North Carolina. And Coach Blackman on the defensive side could not be higher on that young man.
Yeah, and he beats a really good player in Anwar O'Neal for the Hens, who the Blue Hens are thrilled about what kind of level Anwar O'Neal can play at. Got beat there.
Minicucci on 2nd down. Sets his feet. Fire. Pass is caught. Almost 1st down yardage. First catch of the season for Connor Whittoff. He had a catch last year against Sacred Heart for the Hens. And that'll bring us a 2-minute timeout. It's not a warning in college football. Nobody gets warned, but it is a 2-minute timeout. They implemented a season ago. We'll take a break. Hens up 7-3 at Delaware Stadium. Stadium packed here in Newark. The student section filled. And they're looking for their Blue Hens to give a 2-minute drill execution to end first half. It's 3rd down and 1 as we resume with Joe Silver picking up the first down yardage against close to midfield.
Yeah, great run. You must convert that one. It feels a little dicey to have to go for that on 4th down. Get Joe Silver running north, and now we're back to the ball with a little tempo.
1st down and 10. 1:41. Second quarter clock. Minicucci again. Silver catches, tiptoes a bit, and gets into Delaware State territory.
Yeah, great catch there by Joe Silver. That ball is pulling him really almost in the opposite direction, right around the sideline, to be able to bring that one in, keep his foot in bounds, and maybe get another yard or two. 7-yard completion. Stops the clock.
Minicucci has time, has Widoff, and Widoff can't hold on.
Widoff just unable to bring this ball in. He's wide open down the seam. Take a big shot, a really nice route, wide open, flashes for it, and gets stoned hard by Wayne Favors, the cornerback. Was second, 2 interceptions last year, first on the team.
Give him a pass break up there. The redshirt junior from Miami.
Brings up another 3rd down, a critical 3rd and manageable for the Blue Hens.
Thaw in motion this time on 3rd down. Minicucci gets the first for Delaware.
Good pitch, good catch, going back to 1-9. Duplessis has become kind of his guy here. 8 different receivers for the Blue Hens so far. Makes a nice grab in traffic there on a little hitch route. Is able to fall forward for another couple yards. 1st down.
1:23 on the clock. Firing again is Minicucci. And another 1st down for the blue and gold. And that again, Kyrie Duplessis from Woodbridge High School in Virginia. And his first day as a Blue Hen going well. Minicucci on the run. Throwing. Passes. One more for Delaware on this drive. Sean Wilson that time.
Yeah, Nick Minicucci's doing a really good job of spreading the ball around, making sure it's going to the guy that is open. He's got a few looks. He plays off the right side, doesn't see anything he likes, brings it all the way back around. Probably had Duplessis open across on a drag. But a nice find to find Sean Wilson. Brings up 2nd and 1. Knocking on the door here for another touchdown.
Approaching the 1-minute mark of the second quarter. Minicucci's look good. He'll keep again. Pump it. He's got 1 rushing touchdown. Slides this time at the 5.
Smart play there. Get down. Don't take a huge hit. Maybe get a fumble. Time is of no concern here. You have all your timeouts. Does a nice job. He is a fit kid. We saw that with the touchdown run. Smart to get down on the ground there. We're 1st and goal. 1st and 7 from the 7. Are able to punch this one in for 6.
Goal to go. High snap. Gives to Silver. He's wrapped up right away. That was Jaden Mifflin, Delaware native from Sussex Tech High School.
Yeah, really nice play there.
Timeout, Delaware. Their first timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Nice play there by Mifflin.
And a timeout taken by Delaware. They'll have 2 more timeouts remaining. 37 seconds left to go in this first half. A score here would go a long way. I don't think there's any worry on the Blue Hen sideline. They've been a second-half team at times, really putting together some great second halves under Ryan Carty. But maybe for the fan base, a little breathing room would go a long way, because this is about as tight of a football game as this series has ever had.
Yeah, the previous 11 meetings, the Hens have won by double digits in every single one. When I was on the team here and then as a coach, I don't really remember one ever even feeling this close. But, hey, the 12th is different. Deshaun Jackson, you got FBS for the Delaware Blue Hens. It's a different era.
Out of the timeout. Silver is the back. Minicucci dropped at the 15-yard line. There is a flag on the play, as the sack was made by Alexander Cobbs.
Cobbs, the San Jose State transfer. I'd be interested to see what this flag is. It's looking like it might be on the secondary of the Hornets. Right on the 1-yard line. Be interested to see if this is maybe a defensive holding, a pass interference.
Tell you what, Rory Bernard, the man on our screen, has had a busy day so far.
Yeah, we've heard a lot. Yeah, the white hat is in action. He should get a pizza from Coach Carty. Let me tell you, he's burning calories. Give him some carbs at halftime.
I don't think Coach Carty's been one to.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 12 players in formation. The penalty is 5 yards. It's still second down. Please reset the game clock to 37 seconds.
I don't know if he's been making nice with officials handing out pizza, but a conversation there.
The clock will start on the snap.
That the call went his
Correction.
way.
The penalty was half the distance to the goal. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
Well, 12 is too many, and if you're playing bingo at home, we've had a lot of different penalties. Too many men on the field is one. Go ahead and set that on your bingo card tonight, but brings up 2nd and 3 from the 3.
Medici, end zone, touchdown! It's the first as a Blue Hen for Kyrie Duplessis, who now has 7 catches in the first half.
Nice to see Kyrie Duplessis rewarded, making a lot of big plays here in the first half. Really been the go-to guy for the Blue Hens. Able to get his first touchdown here. Hits pay dirt. We get a nice look of it here. Minicucci's going to him the entire way. Looks like a quick little slant route to Duplessis. Tucks it in to the fans.
Another quick drive for Delaware as Reed makes the extra point. They went 75 yards in about 3 minutes on their last possession. They go 11 plays, 77 yards in just 2:07 this time around.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we were talking about when we said, hey, we're keeping our eye on the clock, and we know Coach Carty's probably thinking, hey, let's get the ball back with enough time to score. The defense got the stop that they needed to get, and it took minutes and some change to get it in the end zone for another score. And if you're Delaware, you got to be thrilled here to go into halftime up 14-3. We get another look, and it looks like it's starting to rain a little bit here at Delaware Stadium.
It is. We're getting some weather all of a sudden out there.
Well, it wouldn't be a Route 1 rivalry without a little bit of weather at Delaware Stadium. I've seen some years where we've had weather delays and a whole bunch of things, so I guess it's pretty fitting that some big raindrops are falling down here in Newark, Delaware.
I don't think this was in the forecast because we've got a bunch of fans heading towards the concessions right now. I don't think there's a whole lot of umbrellas packed here tonight. It was one of the most beautiful days, and now it is absolutely coming down here in Newark. The scramble drill in the crowd is something to watch.
I like to think of myself as a little bit of an amateur man, Scott, and this did not appear on my forecasting radar. And these are big drops coming down. I mean, this is something else.
It is coming down right now. It's almost like that second touchdown just unlocked the rain in the sky.
That could be it. Right before halftime, we get a good band show. Delaware State brought their band.
But you're right. I don't want to jinx lightning or anything like that. But Delaware had about a 9-minute lightning delay in game 1 a season ago against Bryant. And you mentioned Delaware State. Delaware was postponed a long time ago. Had to play on a Sunday afternoon. So DSU going to take it into the locker room. They've had some highs. They've certainly had some lows with the penalties, but they were up 3-0 before Delaware scored 14 unanswered. Fritz, your thoughts on the first 30 minutes?
Yeah, my thoughts for Delaware State is, hey, you shot yourself in the foot a little bit with penalties, but they've proven they're a well-conditioned team, a team that can make a lot of plays, can get the ball in the end zone. It's going to be a matter of can they limit the mistakes in the second half.
Well, Delaware scores on their 2 possessions of the first half and lead it 14-3. We are at the break at what is now a very rainy Delaware Stadium. Hens lead by even at the half. And welcome back into Delaware Stadium. We're at the half. The Blue Hens lead 14-3 over Delaware State. I'm Scott Clatcher alongside Fritz Stuber. And the Hornets started first, but the Blue Hens found their rhythm in the back end of that second quarter.
They sure did. They scored very quickly and made a lot of huge plays after kind of a sloppy start here. We first here see the muff punt by Jaden Jenkins. who's able to get back on top of it for the Hornets to limit what should really be a touchdown for the Blue Hens. And the ball's slippery out of the gate here. We're then seeing Joe Silver, who also fumbles for the Hens. Going to get a look of it here. A lot of fumbles down by that goal line this evening, which gave Delaware State here a lot of momentum to be able to start playing fast, but they just magnified it with some mistakes. Here we get a big play, but too many penalties, too many missed assignments. Here's a sack by Dylan Traynor, who doesn't give up on the football play. Nick Minicucci, who obviously had to step in for an injured Zach Parker, finishes here for a huge touchdown to give the Blue Hens some momentum. And then he found his guy who became one of his bigger playmakers in the second half in the first half in Duplessis, here for a touchdown on a quick slant, a great move to get into the end zone. And he's been Delaware's big playmaker here.
And that was our game track, sponsored by Highmark Blue Shield, the official healthcare insurance partner of University of Delaware Athletics and Recreation, because life. Now let's talk about a few of the numbers. The first half stats are brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 313, and the National Electrical Contractors Association. Together, we power Delaware. What stood out to you in the first half, Fred?
Yeah, what stood out to me was really time of possession, and then what Delaware was able really to do with how many plays they ran, but how many yards they're on track for. They had 232 first half yards, really kind of on pace for what Coach Carty likes to see with some big, large total offensive stats. The time of possession ended up being close to a wash, but we'll be really interested here to see the second half. Who is able to limit the mistakes? Who is able to capitalize on some X plays, some big plays, and get the ball into the end zone?
We're at the half here at Delaware Stadium with the Blue Hens up 14-3. Today's game is presented by DE 529, the DE 529 Education Savings Plan. Kick off your education savings with a DE 529 account. PNC Bank. PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865. Moon Services. For out-of-this-world service, moonairinc.com. And the Delaware Office of Highway Safety. You are where road safety starts in Delaware. Visit arrivealive.de.com for more information about the Delaware Office of Highway Safety. And we are about 3 minutes away, a little less than that, from getting things started in the second half. As we went to break, it was pouring rain here. It was a beautiful day otherwise, but it started dumping, and that might have cleared some of the atmosphere at the stadium as everyone went for cover. Hopefully they get back into their seats in just a bit, but I think there were some fans that had a little bit of nerves here at Delaware Stadium for the most part of that first. DSU went up what could have been 6-0, but a 33-yard run was called back due to penalty, but did have a 3-0 lead before Delaware found the rhythm offensively. If you're Delaware State, though, minus some penalties that really be pleased though that first half show.
Yeah, you're pleased, and you really want to see if you can do something here in the second half offensively. You've obviously gotten Caden Bennett into a bit of a groove. Marquise Gillis is having a really nice ball game. I'm surprised we haven't seen a guy, Ryan Pelham, the recent transfer in from Oregon. The coaching staff was extremely high on what he brings to the table with the ball in his hands. Maybe he doesn't really have a great grasp of the offense, only being on campus for 2 weeks, but they're going to need their playmakers to get into this football game in the second half.
How about the job Nick Minicucci has done? 17 of 21, 145 yards, 1 touchdown. That's an 81% completion rate, and he has to come in after not starting after Zach Marker, the starting quarterback, goes down early.
And he's made some plays with his legs as well. When we started the broadcast, we were talking about, hey, how Zach Marker can really be a difference maker on the ground for the Blue Hens, but you wouldn't know that with Nick Minicucci this evening. He made a lot of plays on the ground, 5 rushes for 33 yards. Obviously had that big touchdown there on the goal line that we saw a minute ago. He's been efficient. He has not turned the ball over. He's made some smart decisions, and Delaware's going to need him to continue to capitalize on that.
How about on the other side? Caden Bennett 5 of 11, only 30 yards. It was DSU doing it more so on the ground. 85 of their 115 yards were on the run game.
Yeah, big second half upcoming here. Delaware State gets the football. Be interested to see the second half adjustments they have in store. If there's anything they haven't pulled out of the book yet for us to get a feel for.
Delaware with the lead at the half, 14-3. Ryan Carty has never lost a home opener as a coach. Started in 2007 as a tight ends coach at New Hampshire. So many great offensive minds, Carty, in that group have come out of New Hampshire, and he is 22-1 in home openers as a coach and a player, dating back to his days as a Delaware Blue Hen. So it is a rarity that he is even in a close game.
It's a pretty impressive stat. There's no question about it, Scott.
And Reed boots this one deep, and as most of his kicks go, it is a touchback. As I mentioned earlier, 47 touchbacks a season ago for Nate Reed. He's got 2 of them here tonight. So Caden Bennett and the offense will come back out for Delaware State University. 115 yards total offense in the first half. Bennett is the transfer. He is a veteran, played at Sacramento State a season ago. Top 20 in school history in passing yards and third in completion percentage at Sacramento State. This is his 7th year in college. He started at Nevada in 2019 after originally committing to Boise State. Well traveled, and now he finds Dover as his home. He'll turn and to the running back, Gillis, who's wrapped up at the line on the first play of the second half.
And that's a really nice play by Trainer out of the gate. It looks like they're pointing that the ball came out. It might be the Hens ball, and it is. Jack Hall comes away with it out of the pile. 1 play, 1 turnover here to start the second half. That's absolutely huge.
Can't start any better than that for Manny Rojas' defense. Let's see it. I thought he was down originally. Didn't see the ball pop up.
Jack Hall, Gavin
After
Moll.
discussion, it was determined that the runner's forward progress was stopped prior to losing possession of the ball. Second down.
You know, Scott, that's an interesting call. I thought they're still kind of fighting there. Be interested to see if the booth takes another look at this as we get a view here of Coach Jackson. Doesn't appear we are. And DSU's back on the football. Lucky to dodge one there, even with a 2-yard loss.
That would have been a huge momentum gain. Delaware Blue Hens. Instead, Caden Bennett able to keep the drive alive. And
I think that ball almost pops out there too, Scott. I mean,
it should have if Caden Bennett
maybe
was so strong with his grip, because he took a lick on that run.
Maybe it's the showers that we had right before half. It could be a little wet on the field down there, which certainly could be affecting that football. But Jack Hall and his crew trying to rip it out, trying to get turnovers.
I will say they were very quick and didn't review that fumble. They said it was
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by the offense. The previous play is under further review.
But we're going to look at this one.
Maybe the officiating crew feels like they owe Delaware one.
Sure.
Jack Hall came away with the first one. That ball did come out. Good eyes by you, Fritz.
We'll get a look here, but I really do think that he is down based on the first look of it. But
now this is
the original. Yeah, this is the original where you can see he's still fighting for yardage, jumping over a hen. Dylan Trainer comes in and is able to punch that ball loose along with Jack Hall, and I think Jack's the one that ends up coming away with it. But this is the replay they're looking at is the second play.
Yeah, 2 fumbles in a row for Delaware State. The first one called back after a Jack Hall recovery. The second one is a run by the quarterback, Caden Bennett. And again, looking at if the runner was down.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Third down.
So it'll be third down for Delaware State, who's got to hold on to the football. And here's the Bennett.
The Bennett scramble, we're going to get a look here. That ball is out.
Yeah, they're going to say the call on the field was that Delaware State recovered the football anyway. So third down and 6. And Bennett tosses one, gets right to the marker, and that's a first down for Reese Clark, the Temple transfer.
And you're thrilled here, and we're going with a little bit of tempo as Delaware State to be able to convert that for a quick first down. They're off and running. They're trying to get guys aligned in a 2-by-2 set.
Quick toss, and right there on the play was Sean Cox. There is another flag, and one DSU player has his helmet
The ruling
on.
on the field is an incomplete pass.
Big break up there by Sean Cox, another Delaware native guy. Nice to see him make a play on the football and break one up there.
We'll start here to the
A lot of flags, a lot of balls on the ground.
It is the opening night for everybody. You're not going to be as sharp as you're going to be later on in the season. And I'll tell you what.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense.
Wow.
Number 11, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
This has not been the cleanest game, and I was going to say Rory Bernard been overturning on his microphone. Almost forgot to turn it on that time, but we got the call. Another penalty, so we've seen a couple fumbles, penalties to start the second half of football. That leads at 14-3, and DSU now midfield. And nowhere to go for James Jones, the Baltimore native.
Tackle there, Dominic Brogna. Might have almost snuck away with a little face grab there on the face mask. I'm glad there's not another flag on the field. We're going to keep that one moving and keep playing. Brings up 2nd and long.
11 flags in this game. 7 of them belong to Delaware State. But nice job by Dominic Brogna, the senior from Bergen Catholic High School, Powerhouse High School, another Jersey native on this team. 2nd down and long.
You're starting to see the Hens defense really swarm to the football here as well. Here comes some pressure.
Bennett hit as he tosses. Middle of the field is open, though, and the catch is made by Naiji Lally, the leading receiver for DSU a season ago. 40 catches in 2024, gets his first of 25.
Yeah, Lally right here in Newark, Delaware. You can see Caden Bennett's poise here as he's under pressure, takes a big hit, lobs one up for Lally, who's able to come down with it with another big play for the Hornets.
First down for DSU, getting the football first to start the second half, down 14-3. It's Gillis. Boy, he's looked tough in this football game. Gets 9 there.
Yeah, a physical football run there. And you're seeing Delaware State now going with a little bit of tempo, trying to get onto the ball. We're going to get another look here as Gillis is running straight downhill. 2 hands on that football, not squirting out there.
And Gillis gets the rest. So another first down for DSU as Mark Gillis up over 55 yards now on the day.
And Delaware has a chance here to make this a tackle for loss. And we've seen this a few times tonight where they get hands on a guy in the backfield and he's able to squirm out of it. And whether he gets 2, 3, or 10 more yards, it's a missed opportunity for the Hens defense to come away with tackles for loss.
Jones now is the back. He'll get the carry. Delaware's there to wrap him up at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that one worked. We had a whole bunch of hats on a ball there. Crenshaw's fired up about it, as he should be. A nice hit by Anthony Crenshaw, the junior out of Arlington, Texas. I think the Hornets might have got away with a hold there, but we'll let it slide.
Crenshaw, 21 tackles this season for number 21. Now 2nd down and 10. DSU, 10th play of the drive for the Hornets. They'll send Clark in motion. Bennett tossing towards the end zone. And excellent coverage. That time by Jason Scott, the 6th-year man, transferred from Boston College.
Great coverage by Jason Scott, but great coverage on the entire back end here for Delaware's defense. There's nobody open here as we get a look at this replay. Caden Bennett going to take a snap, doesn't have really anybody home, throws it to his guy that gives him a chance to make a play in the end zone, but really good defense by Scott.
9th third down of the day for DSU. They converted 3 times. And Bennett going to convert and get 6. Caden Bennett keeps it himself and finds pay dirt.
Great physical play by Caden Bennett. Another play here where Delaware has an opportunity to make the tackle, whether in the backfield or right on the line in 3rd and 10. It's a draw the whole way. He sheds a tackle right there. KT Say isn't able to get him by the ankles. And Bennett trots into the end zone for a huge touchdown for the Hornets.
Caden Bennett, Coach Nemo Washington said he's as advertised. He transferred just a month ago to Delaware State University, but he leads the team on an opening drive of 75 yards on 11 plays. And Bennett,
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 69. That is his first unsportsmanlike foul of the game toward disqualification. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kick. Play for try.
and that's Justice Johnson, the center, and tied up again.
Yeah, Caden Bennett, he's had a great career as a college football player. Was originally committed to Boise State, a great program. Ended up at Nevada, then obviously Sacramento State. Now he's having a great night here for the Hornets.
And a great opening drive for the Delaware State University Hornets. They make it 14-10 as the rain falls once more at Delaware Stadium.
Possibilities. The University of Delaware.
The Route 1 rivalry game here in Newark is a close one. 14-10, Delaware State gets the first possession and the first score of the second half as they go 11 plays, 60 yards, and make this one just a one-score game.
As the raindrops keep falling here at Delaware Stadium.
Yeah, we
Scott.
went from a beautiful night to a rainy one. Pollard is back to return, and he's got some speed at midfield. Makes a man miss, and down he goes. What a return by Mysong Pollard. He had 4 punt return touchdowns in 2023 as a junior college player, and almost had one there on the kick return.
And this is really set up by the penalty there, the unsportsmanlike after the touchdown. To get Mysong Pollard to be able to field that ball at the 35-yard line with a full head of steam. A huge return, exactly the momentum that Delaware needs after a really great answer and a great drive by the Hornets coming out of halftime.
So Delaware's offense comes out with great field position and a chance to extend their lead once more. Thaw in motion. Reverse. Placey looks like he wants to throw, but nothing's there, so he'll keep it. And reverse course. He's got some space. Minicucci a blocker. And Duplessis a whole lot of running, not a whole lot of yards, but look at the heart from the quarterback, Nick Minicucci, on the replay as the lead block.
A great block here, and here's the reverse by Kyrie Duplessis, who does to throw the ball. It's not open down the field, does a nice job. Here's Minicucci coming back, finding a guy to block. He gets in the way and does what he needs to do for his teammate. That's great heart and great effort by Nick Minicucci, and a nice play by Duplessis to make a positive there.
Picks up 7, and now Minicucci will slide almost into the red zone. So runs and a first down for the Blue Hens, looking to get their lead back up after an excellent opening drive in the third quarter by Delaware State.
Yeah, does a nice job on the slide here, too, on a damp turf. Looked like he got about 5 or 6 yards alone on the slide. So
Minicucci, leading rusher with 33 and 81% completion rate thus far, having a nice opening night. To Elijah Sessoms for the third time tonight, and the big fella dives into the red zone.
And I really like what Coach Carty has done here with Nick Minicucci, getting him to be able to sprint out, find guys. There's a bunch of different options based on the look, based on the picture. It's given him the confidence that he needs to play in a little bit of space, not under a ton of pressure. Hey, your guy's open, toss it to his numbers, and let him upfield.
Here's Silver, bouncing for tackler, still on his feet. Inside the 10.
Physical run there by Joe Silver as we see the big raindrops falling back down here at Delaware Stadium. And I'm surprised we haven't seen more of Joe Silver here in this drive. A guy that is really going to be the bell cow back this year for Delaware. That's a really nice physical run. Gets tossed out of bounds. 1st and goal, 1st and 9 from the 9. Always a good thing. Let's see if Delaware can quickly answer that Delaware State score.
Raymond and LeBoy at the bottom of your screen. Silver is the back. Another goal-to-go situation as both tight ends go in motion. Enzo drops. Would have been 6 for Whittoff.
Yeah, that's another unfortunate drop there by Connor Whittoff. He had the one in the first half down the seam that was knocked out. You know, Scott, this might be just a wet ball, wet gloves. A little high as well. Tough one to come down with, but man, would you like to have that one Connor Whittoff.
Kelly will sub in. As Whittoff comes off, it's second down, goal to go from the 9. Minicucci. Nice job by Delaware State to get in there again. That's Quincy Robinson, 45 tackles a season ago at Bluefield University.
Yeah, Quincy Robinson quickly becoming one of their leaders on defense from what we heard earlier in the week of how he handled camp this season. A lot of new faces on the Delaware State roster, let alone the defense, and that team clearly has come together here in a short period of time and is really having a great game here tonight at Delaware Stadium.
Minicucci slings it. Kelly catches it and scores.
Jakari Kelly on a post route in some traffic. He's fired up, and he should be. This is a tough ball to catch here in the rain. It's coming down pretty good here at Delaware Stadium. Looks like there's a little bit of a defensive holding. I was incorrect on the post, but good job at being able to wiggle off a guy, squirm into the end zone. Had some help from Sessoms blocking for him. Big answer for Delaware.
Jakari Kelly ends a 7-play, 34-yard drive, and his second career touchdown. Had one a year ago against Albany. Reed on for the extra point. It's good, and Delaware gets their lead back up to where it was at the break. 21-10 here in New York. Nick Minicucci has completed 79% of his throws. His most recent toss found Kelly for 6.
And Nick Minicucci has absolutely answered the bell for the Delaware Blue Hens. Pressed into action early, maybe the 5th, 6th snap of the game, has done an excellent job of executing the game plan for the Hens.
Zach Marker was the starting quarterback. You feel for Zach, worked so hard to be the starting quarterback and got injured on his first scramble of the season. We were talking about just how he's come back from injury as he had to come out of the game. So Nick Minicucci into the ball game. Thought we might see Nick Minicucci perhaps anyway, because there was a quarterback battle, a lot of depth in that quarterback group, but he comes in and immediately makes an impact. 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 touchdown on the ground for Nick. And now a player that also has a touchdown on the ground, the quarterback in Caden Bennett, will lead DSU back onto the field, down 11. Gillis to the 30 on the first snap of the drive.
And I suspect we're going to see a nice dose of Gillis here, who's really been a good back for them tonight. Here he is running a zone play, finds a nice little gap off guard tackle, is able to fall forward for a 5-yard gain. He's going to have to be the guy that answers the bell for the Hornets.
And they'll go back to him. Bounces off a couple Blue Hens. Now it's a race at the 40. And Marquise Gillis is back for this DSU Hornet team. The 2020 MEAC Rookie of the Year. Missed all but 2 games a season ago. He has been waiting for opening night and showing how good he can be.
Well, speaking of answering the bell, here's Gillis. He's a physical runner. He sheds 2 or 3 tackles there. Huge play. Captain for the Hornets, and he's showing why.
Gillis up to 150 yards of rushing.
I'm surprised to see Delaware State kind of take time here. You had Delaware reeling there, sucking a little bit of air. Let's go. Let's get this snap, and then we false start.
Yeah, a lot of movement there.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Jackson, I'm to Coach Nemo Washington on the phones right now saying, hey, we had the tempo, we the momentum. Let's go. Let's get on the ball, run a play.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that's the 9th penalty on Delaware State tonight.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is a lot of what we saw in the first half. Big plays, chunk plays, mojo, momentum, only to have the entire offensive line false start. You know, it's still that 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or in Gillis's case, that was about 30 steps forward, and then false start. So you need Delaware State to kind of lock in and capitalize on the momentum.
It's that attention to detail in week 1 that needs to be there. Bennett, he's showing what he can do on the ground again. He had that 23-yard touchdown run on the last drive, and he picks up about 10 after the penalty.
Yeah, another gas play here. Has room. There's a penalty in the secondary. I'll be curious what that's on.
Fritz, I would love to go 4 plays without
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 players in formation. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, second down.
You know, we knew we would see a lot of missed assignments, a lot of penalties.
First down.
We've been talking about it really the entire
So
broadcast.
It's going to be first down.
There is. There's got to be
Still
sloppiness after training camp. You're going against a different opponent, different jersey. But this is becoming a compounding issue for the Blue Hens and the Hornets. Frankly, it's who's going to be able to withstand, get through this football game, and a lot to learn working into week 2.
It'll be Jones this time after the first down given to Delaware State.
And if I'm Coach Jack, I'm going over to Gillis and I'm saying, hey, we need you out there now. You're our bell cow tonight. You're making the big plays. You and Caden Bennett. We got Delaware where we want here. There's plenty of time on the clock for us. Let's go get another score.
Jones and Jenkins in with Bennett, who keeps it and runs right into Gavin Mole.
And if you're Delaware, you're thrilled to have Gavin Mole step up and make a play when you need him to make a play. The captain for them, a defensive leader. Great player, great read here, is able to make a play in space. Brings up down, critical down for both the Hens and the Hornets.
71 tackles last season, led the team, and it wasn't close in terms of most tackles for the Blue and Gold in 2024. That man, Gavin Mole, now 3rd down and 7. Bennett being pressured on the run, throwing, stays there with an interception.
KT say Johnny on the spot. Huge interception for the Blue Hens here. As
The ruling on the field is an interception by Delaware. First down.
As pressure comes right away on Caden Bennett. He just throws one up for grabs. KT says right there. Has eyes on it the whole way. And boy, if you're Delaware State, you had some juice, you had some mojo there, and then bang, the penalty, and you blink, and then now it's a turnover. So unfortunate for them, but the Hens were able to capitalize and make a big play.
KT Say has come up with big plays time and time again for this Blue Hens team. In his 3rd year as a junior, he had 4 interceptions a season ago, and he gets the ball back for the Blue Hens. Ellison in as the back, the transfer playing his first game as a Blue Hen. And just to go back to KT Say, he's a 3rd-year member of the team, and the career he's had already, 23 games, 21 starts. You think about what most years are doing in their 3rd year. Maybe you redshirt your 1st year, play 4 games, sprinkle in there. Maybe as a redshirt freshman, you play a few, and then now you're going into maybe your first full season as a starter.
That's
KT
right.
Say's had 3 years in this Manny Rojas defense, and it's showing. Ball, 2nd-year player for the Hens. First down for the Michigan transfer a year ago.
And that's something Coach Rojas has always kind of preached. We're going to play the best 11, regardless of how long you've been here, where you're from. We want the best guys out on the football field who can go and make plays. Similar to a guy like Jake Thaw, who transferred in last season for the Hens.
Fresh set of downs for Minicucci. He's got it in his left arm, and he wiggles his way to the 25.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of zone read here now in the second half. Minicucci's kind of getting 2 options with it. I can give it to Ellison, or I can scoot outside for a big positive play. And if you're Delaware here now, you're in the later stages here of the third quarter. You're starting to think, how can the clock become our friend here in the second half, especially as this rain continues to kind of mist down.
It'll be Ellison with some room in the middle of the field and picks up the first down for Delaware. Ellison, they are high on him, the sophomore from Tulsa. Dallas, Texas native, was on the team a season ago, rushing yards over at Tulsa.
He almost looked like a little tight end power there, and you get a real feel for what Ellison can do, both from a physicality standpoint, but also when he gets into the open field, he can pick him up and put him down.
Looking is the quarterback, and he runs out of time as he's brought down by Emerson Martin, the senior from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, I think this is tomorrow when the staff turns this one on film for Nick to look at that. See, this ball's got to get out quick. He's got Duplessis open on a quick slant. That ball's 1, 2, 3, throw it. Tough to take the sack there on first down.
Approaching the 2-minute mark of the third quarter. Delaware up 21-10. And Minicucci will toss. He had two in the area. I don't know if the target actually is the one that caught the football, as it looked like going over the head of Elijah Sessoms, but Sessoms used all 6'3" of his frame to go up and get it.
Yeah, a great catch by Sessoms, and I think this is probably a Coach Carty right back to it. Hey, Nick, this ball's supposed to come out quick, 1, 2, 3, throw it. And he does there on second down to Sessoms, brings up really a third and manageable and a must conversion here for the Hens.
Delaware 5 of 9 on third downs. Minicucci gets the snap from Bros, throws right where he needed to, put it right to Thaw. That's a veteran move by Jake Thaw, knowing the distance, getting there, securing the football, and getting the down.
Smart play by Thaw to get the down there. Again, we're kind of in a quick game set here for Coach Carty in this offense. Knows how many yards he has to have. Minicucci's going him really the whole way. And now we can kind of settle in first down. Let's make sure we're running something that we think is going to be a big play for us here.
Under a minute left in the third. Delaware led by 11 at the break. That's where it stands at the moment. Ellison is the running back in closer to midfield.
Yeah, Ellison off tackle here, has a nice fall forward for a meaningful run here. We're going to get a look here. It's right off of Noah Rotak. Brings up and manageable. Again, here we just said it a minute ago, it feels like the time's starting to fly off the clock. There was 30. They're now down to just under 30 seconds in the third quarter.
Could be the final play here of quarter number 3 as Ellison goes in motion. Minicucci looks, nothing there, throws and threads the needle between two Delaware State defenders to Jake Thaw.
Yeah, Jake Thaw, Nick does a great job here letting Thaw come through the progression. Finds him, it's not where he's intended to go. He's got a couple guys wide open as we're going to head into the fourth quarter.
Of the third quarter. Media timeout.
Well, you heard it from Rory Bernard. I'll send it to break as well. Fourth quarter coming up from Newark, Delaware. Delaware's won all 11 meetings between these two teams. The closest game was a 10-point victory in 2009 for the Blue Hens. They lead by 11 as we enter into the fourth quarter with Nick Minicucci tossing, end zone, man under it for Delaware State. There is a flag on the interception.
Well, I think Delaware's going to get a gift here, Scott, of a pass interference or a defensive holding. Here we'll get another look at it with a big picture. And frankly, I don't think Delaware State needs to be holding the receiver. It's really not where Minicucci's going with this football. I think he's maybe looking for, is that Jakari Kelly down the field? No, it's Max Patterson. But I think that interception's going to be aided here by some type of defensive holding, pass interference on the Hornets.
Yeah, it looks like the 10th penalty of the game is going to be coming up for a Delaware State. There was another flag thrown in the backfield after the return on the interception. So the officiating crew's getting together
I blame the new Conference USA painting on the field here. It's so much yellow. You know, I think the flag is finding its way. It's blending. It's camouflage.
Does look nice on the field. The CUSA was added this week. Final touches to the stadium as Delaware has been waiting since November 2023. That's when the announcement came out. The Delaware moving up to the FBS.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both against the defense.
There you go.
Holding, defense. Personal foul, illegal blindside block, defense. That penalty is declined. The 10-yard penalty for defensive holding will be enforced from the previous spot, 10 yards, and an automatic first down.
Nick Minicucci's been so sharp today. You knew there was going to be some type of flag being thrown as Sam Scaife was right under it. But
the double whammy is Patterson is obviously held here at the bottom of the screen, which really does lead to the interception, running a big over route. But it's always hard now, and Nick Minicucci is the one that gets hit on the blindside block there by Alan Smith, the graduate nickel back for the Hornets. Those are always tough. You're never trying to really take somebody's head off, but when a big sudden change play like that happens and guys are peeling around, those happen, and I'm glad that Nick's upright and certainly not injured after taking a pretty big hit there.
Minicucci with 2 touchdowns home in this game sends Kelly in motion. Greg Spiller is first time. He'll get his first career carry to the 30-yard line. Greg Spiller, redshirt freshman, did not see action last year at the University of Delaware from Ashburn, Virginia, and they like Spiller. They've got a lot of talent in that running back room. Is the most talented, perhaps, Joe Silver back in.
Well, I think it's because of his last name, but it's also the look. He does look a little bit like C.J. Spiller, the same kind of body type. Not wearing the same number, I don't believe. I don't think C.J. was 26, but Spiller's going to be a good back, and they're going to need as the season plays on here for Delaware.
Backfield empties for Minicucci on 2nd down and 8. And they'll flip it to Joe Silver, who can't turn the corner, tracked down from behind.
Yeah, the Doak Walker watch list back, Joe Silver. We've said it many times. He is going to be the bell cow. They're trying to get the ball in his hand here, clearly on a little flip sweep. He's going to have to be the back that really does carry Delaware throughout the entire season. And you know, we said it leading into the broadcast that to win important games in November, you have to finish and win games in August, September, and October. And it's a cliche and a mantra, but it does ring true and something that Delaware wants to take advantage of here tonight.
On 3rd down, some pressure. Diving back and incomplete to Kelly. It'll be 4th down from the 30-yard line for the Blue and Gold. Up 11, 21-10 for Delaware State. And decision time for Ryan Carter.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Coach Carty is thinking all about bringing on up. This might be was a little quick on that pull there. Can't tell if this is a field goal from distance. It looks like it will be.
Looks like Nate Reed is going to be on to try. It'll be 47-yard try. There was a 40-yard field goal by Delaware State earlier in the game off of Patrick Fisher Butler. Career long for Nate Reed. 41. High snap. Locke gets it down. Reed gets it up. But it is no good. And
pushed it right.
We'll take a timeout
Media
here
timeout.
in the 4th quarter with Delaware up 21-10, unable to add on this drive.
Without accruing thousands of dollars in student debt. Learn more by visiting 529.delaware.gov.
That's not Caden Bennett you're looking at. That's Jaden Sauray, the transfer from Maryland at the quarterback position. Delaware State with a huge opportunity to get this close in the 4th. This series has never been close, and Deshaun Jackson's first game has DSU hanging with the Hens.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity here and a really nice play on 1st down to get positive yards. Pretty surprised that they're not sticking with Bennett here, kind of in crunch time. But a good quick game here, and like you said, Scott, Delaware State gets 7 here. 21-17 with time in the 4th is a tight ball game.
Sauray will keep it, and just going back to the missed field goal by Delaware, a 47-yard try would have been a career long for Nate Reed, but you miss it. You're Delaware State, you get a stop here, and all of a sudden, with 12:20 left to go, you're only down 11, 2 scores. You down the field here, and there's the pressure's on the FBS program. You're playing fast and loose over there if you're part of Deshaun Jackson's 2025 club.
You're playing fast and loose, and you have the whole playbook.
And that play went to Kyrie Benton for his first catch. The junior from Baltimore had 23 of those a season ago.
Now, we're just under 12 minutes here, and I think Delaware State's probably doing a really good job of making sure they're going to get aligned. Not going to have penalties, not going to have missed assignments. We need to execute here as we get into crunch time of this football game.
DSU goes back to the ground. Jack Hall amongst others there for Delaware. They bring up second down. I didn't see an injury. We're not getting updates from the sidelines to Caden Bennett. So it is interesting making the switch late in the ball game in the fourth quarter, the 5 of the fourth for DSU.
Yeah, without speculating, I'm going to speculate a little bit that maybe they feel like they have a package here for him that makes a lot of sense for what they're trying to execute. And the day you can always turn around and hand it to Gillis, who's had a really nice football game tonight.
Gillis up over 100 yards rushing. Saul Ray being pressured. Gets it off and intercepted at the 20. 10, pick 6. It's Khalil Ali.
What a play by Khalil Ali, a guy that Coach Carty highlighted when we met with him earlier in the week. Here comes pressure right away from the Hens. Sae tosses one up. Ali makes a terrific play on the football. Is able to make a guy miss here at the end and get into the zone. Just a huge play by a guy that the Hens are so excited to have on the roster this season.
A 45-yard scamper after the interception for Khalil Ali, the junior transfer from Boston College. And Delaware opens up the lead to 27-10. Second interception of the second half for Delaware, and Reed gets up and through an 18-point advantage. Now Delaware leads the turnover margin for the first time today, and they lead the game 28-10. Turnover margin thanks to Khalil Ali's interception. Ryan Carney, 19-0 when Delaware wins the turnover battle.
Well, Ali helps Coach Carty significantly here. Jaden Saray really throws one up. We were surprised to see him come into the ball game after Caden Bennett had been so good with the football. Leads to that critical error that we were talking about, that turnover that is a real difference maker in the football game. And Ali was able to take it all the way back to the house.
And the ball is loose. Another turnover. Let's see who's got it. Looks like the Hornets got it after it came loose.
And I'm pretty sure it's Myson Poller in there on the hit. The extremely physical safety as we're going to get a look. And it is Myson Poller that's able to get in there and knock that football out. Boy, if you're the Hornets, you're lucky as heck to be able to fall onto that one.
You had the football with a chance to make this perhaps a 4-point or even 3-point game just moments ago, and now you find yourselves down by 18 with 10:35 left to go after the pick 6. And another flag.
False start. Offense. 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Dio Dow, and that's the 11th penalty against Delaware State. But in a blink of an eye, you find yourself down by 8 instead of a chance to really make this something in the fourth.
Yeah, and Bennett's back in the game, and it's just it's starting to feel like now a little bit for the Hornets that things are kind of spiral. Who's going to be a guy that can step up and make a play for us to stop this bleeding?
Bennett has a man in the middle of the field. This poor guy, number 1. I've seen him lining up several times throughout the contest, and he's got no roster spot. We don't have one on the roster sheet.
Well, we could call him if you want. He's having a nice game. It's just it may One of those things where the jersey didn't get on the bus.
I knew eventually he was going to make a catch, and we were going to have to let everyone know he's not listed on the roster. Marquise Gillis sure is listed on the roster. He's had a great day, up to 118 yards.
You got to love week 1. College football's back. How is this? The rain now has finally stopped.
I'll tell you what, the fans were excited. The players certainly excited. If you think those are the only people excited about this broadcast, you're wrong. I got a text message from Fritz Stuber at 6:30 in the morning today talking about this game. We're ready to go.
It was game day, baby. Let's go. And really, it's a historic day for both programs. It's such a big day for the state of Delaware, these two teams matching up. We get another flag here. And we don't know when these two teams will meet again.
We'll let Rory Bernard make the announcement, but I do want to touch on that because you make a great point about this Route 1 rivalry.
Illegal possession, offense, 5 men in the backfield. That penalty declined. Result of the play is 3rd down.
These two teams originally had a contract to play games in Dover last year and this year, and then Delaware would host in 2026, 2027, and 2029. But after the announcement to FBS, that contract was tweaked. So these two teams are not scheduled anymore to play one another. Delaware has non-conference games scheduled as far out as 2033 on 3rd down. Great catch was made, maybe some contact, and no penalty that time as Nathan Stewart came back to get it. But this could be the last time, at least for a very long time, that these rivals match up.
Yeah, it really could be, and that's a really nice play there by Stewart, who's getting drugged down by the jersey. But it's obviously been a matchup that's gone Delaware's way over the course of the history of these two teams meeting, and it really is. It's something that's important to a lot of people across the state of Delaware. It's been an enjoyable rivalry, to say the least.
It has not been close. This one, for some time, was maybe on the brink of being the closest game that these two teams have had. A 10-point win for Delaware in 2009. That was the first regular season match between these two teams. You were on Delaware's roster at that time. What was the feel at that time, these two teams getting together?
Yeah, we're going a bit into the Wayback Machine, but that was a unique one. Obviously, the teams had met in 2007 as we a huge play, gash play by Delaware State.
It's Gillis and the Hornets not done yet as Marquise Gillis continues to add on to what has been a remarkable day, this time with a score.
Yeah, without a question, Marquise Gillis has been the player of the game for the Delaware State Hornets. He has done a workman job here of making plays. We said it a few minutes ago. We were chatting about the rivalry. Who was going to be the guy that would step up for the Hornets? It's been Gillis. Half, second half, you can see the finish that he has there to get that ball into the end zone. And this game is not over. Both teams have 3 timeouts. There's 8:12 to go. This one's been moving quick. You blink and there's a big play that happens.
That was a huge play for Delaware State to break something off there as Marquise Gillis gets into the end zone. And the extra point is up and through, so Delaware State gets it back to 11 with 8:12. It's a lot of football remaining here at Delaware Stadium. Why not? More flags.
Yeah.
If you got a flag, throw it. That's been the theme tonight. We'll take a break, though, and we'll hear about what in the world that one's all about when we come back here in Newark. It's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back for Delaware State with all the penalties today. You get a touchdown, Marquise Gillis, and you see the unsportsmanlike here against the holder and punter Dyson Roberts is what we had before break on the penalty.
And here's another backed up kickoff for Delaware State. Gives Myson Pollard another opportunity for a big return. He's going to catch this one with some momentum running forward.
And here he is. Pollard awaits. Untouched as he gets to the 35, and will give Delaware great field position to start this drive. But for Delaware State, got to give them big-time credit there. You go down by 18, you take out your quarterback for a drive. The backup quarterback throws an interception that's returned for a touchdown. And then Caden Bennett comes back in and leads them down the field. This one far from being over.
Yeah, far from being over. We were talking about the rivalry and where this thing goes, and you snap your finger, and there's one going into the end zone by Gillis. So a big drive here for Delaware. You got to go score again. I mean, Delaware State is hanging around in this football game.
Gillis' 39-yard touchdown interrupted your story of the 2009 game that you were a part of, the first regular season matchup between these two teams. These two teams played for the first time in 2007, as you see Joe Silver hobble off a bit. And the playoffs in the first regular season game came a couple years later.
A couple years later, Pat Devlin will be on these areas in a couple weeks, was the quarterback of that team. Pulled out a nice win for us.
Minicucci to Thal, drops right at the marker at midfield, and Delaware picks up a first down. Devlin will be inducted to the Delaware the University of Delaware, I should say, Athletics Hall of Fame before that UConn contest.
Yeah, well earned and well deserved for Pat. I'm sure he's really liking what he's seen out of Nick Minicucci too tonight, being really efficient with the football and making a lot of nice plays and limiting mistakes.
Screen set up to Ellison, but Del State all over it as Edward Core wraps him up. Nashawn Biggs, the transfer from Division II.
And if you're Delaware next week traveling out to Colorado, obviously the Buffs are a big program. Coach Prime, we go from Deshaun Jackson to Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. To be able to have Nick Minicucci take these reps, play really the entire game, and have some good tape on film to be able to critique and get better and coach next week is really an important thing for Nick and this staff.
Minicucci, pass batted away. A rare incomplete toss for Minicucci, who was up over 80% prior to that one that was knocked away. You mentioned the upcoming schedule. That's sponsored by Dart. Download the Dart Transit app today from the Apple Store or Google Play. Delaware, one of just 3 teams in FBS, Buffalo and Stanford, to open up the season against 2 NFL veterans as their opposing head coach is Deshaun Jackson tonight, and Deion Sanders, who played a big role in Deshaun Jackson, accepted this job. D-Jack called Deion Big Brother when he to him earlier this week. On third down, Minicucci plants his feet, lobs, man wide open. Walk in, Jake Thaw.
Well, this is classic Ryan Carty play design to be able to get Jake Thaw totally wide open for a huge touchdown. The answer of the answer. And it's nice to see Jake Thaw get in the end zone. Great pass by Nick Minicucci. He doesn't panic here. He's got a guy totally wide open. It's almost like you're running the basketball court on a breakaway. Don't miss the layup. Just toss it up to Jake Thaw. Let him catch it and stride and glide right into the end zone. Great play. Huge answer for the Hens.
And you do it in front of the man, Deshaun Jackson, that has the most big plays in NFL history. The wide receiver with the most 60-plus yard catches in NFL history. I know he's upset about that one, but somewhere deep down inside, he liked a big play like that. Well, it wasn't quite 60.
Well, we know that he especially likes it. Hey, that ball was just right in the breadbasket. I was able to just stride in the end zone. Nothing wrong with that one. He didn't even have to work that hard for that touchdown. But you're right. And Delaware State, let's see what they have. If they have another answer in them. If that's Gillis, if that's going to be Caden Bennett, if that's going to be somebody else, Najee Lally. Do they have one more answer here in them?
Wasn't quite 60, but it was 50 yards on the touchdown toss for Minicucci to Jake Thaw. Minicucci now at 238 through the air. Deshaun Jackson had 26 touchdowns of 60 or more yards. That's an NFL record. Man, he was something special.
Yes, he really was, and he was explosive for many, many, many years. And when we talked to him, he even said, "Look, I had my family, a lot of my friends were saying, hey, you can still play," and he could. He said, "I still have the speed, but I've done everything I've wanted to do at this level. It's time for me to pivot and figure out, well, what am I going to do next?" And I think he's got a lot to be proud of tonight here. His team has battled, his team has fought, and I think Delaware State is on a really good trajectory to have really a nice season here under his leadership.
I think they showed a lot here on opening night where they were a heavy underdog against Delaware, playing with their own motivations as their first game in FBS. You know what helps for Deshaun Jackson? He talked to us a lot about Travis Clark being on the staff with him. Deshaun Jackson was the offensive coordinator at Wilson High School last season in California. Travis Clark was the head coach and now brings him over as the safeties coach. He was with him when he was introduced at the school. And so to have that type of support staff, brought in some other NFL veterans, they are really building something at Delaware State for a team that has back-to-back one-win seasons, as Bennett has some time here. And will run out of time, and eventually will try to run out of bounds. But for Delaware State, I mean, this is a school that has, we talk about that playoff game against Delaware in 2007, one winning season since that game.
Right, yeah.
And so you need to do something big. Well, and that's about as big as you get for Deshaun Jackson to come to town.
It's a big splash. It's huge for the university, obviously massive for the football program and athletic department. But what I'm seeing on the roster here for Delaware State, I'm seeing a lot of talent, a lot of guys that are going to be able to help them win some football games this year. I've been extremely impressed with Caden Bennett, his poise, some of the plays he's been able to make. He's got a strong arm. He can make plays with his legs. He's going to be a guy, I think, that can help Delaware State as we move into the meat of the season here upcoming.
Approaching the 5 minute here in the fourth. Gillis on third down and didn't quite get there. Gillis with 128 on the day on the ground. A great debut for him. We've talked about missed most of the games last season with a knee injury, coming back from that. Only 2 games a year ago. He's been waiting to get back out there on the field and made a big splash. 120 on the ground and then 46 through the air. That touchdown of 39 yards.
Yeah, a ton to build on if you're Gillis in this offensive. A lot of momentum that they can take into next week after having a really nice night here on the ground with a huge down conversion there by Caden Bennett.
Yeah, went for it on fourth down to keep possession alive for Delaware State. And we're preparing for this game, getting ready for opening night as we do. And a big sign, I don't know what you want to make of this, but the Hornets are coming to Newark. You're mowing the lawn the other day.
Yeah.
And you get by a hornet.
I get stung by a hornet. It could have even been a honeybee. You know, I didn't take the time to get out the magnifying glass and discern what stung me. But I'll tell you what, as a former Blue Hen, I was a little perplexed to get stung by a bee or a hornet for the first time in about a decade.
I think that was a big sign. DSU was going to bring it tonight.
Yeah, they brought the stingers, that's for sure.
And you know what? They went and down the field a couple times. They scored first. It was a no-score first quarter, and then a field goal put you on top. And it seemed like Delaware almost looked at the scoreboard and said they were down, and that turned the knob on a little bit. They scored back-to-back possessions after that to end the first half.
And not only that, you know, I think something that Delaware's going to have to take the next week, and even the Hens as well, is both teams are going to have to limit the mistakes, limit the false penalties, limit the misalignments, too many guys on the field. We had far too many unsportsmanlike penalties. All of that's going to have to get cleaned up if these teams want to win some football games.
Jenkins running wide and into Delaware territory. That's Jaden Jenkins, the redshirt senior. Third on DSU in rush yards season to go. The third back now for Delaware on the depth chart, but maybe showing why you should move on up.
Yeah, and when we met with the staff, they said all of the guys in the running back room are great players that can play it anywhere in our conference, let alone Division 1A and FBS. And you're seeing tonight the depth that they do have in that running back room.
Bennett fires, and pass interference, some contact on the far side of the field. Like Nia Domini.
And I'd like to see this replay again. I actually thought this is good technique here.
Pass interference, defense, number 29. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic down.
Got his head turned back to the ball, finds the body, finds contact, turns back for the ball. You know, it's early in the year. I get it, but that looked like pretty good defense from my vantage point up here. I'd like to see that one kept in the pocket for sure.
It's the first target to Ryan Pelham, transfer from Oregon. As DSU runs the ball with Marquise Gillis. One more time, whistle blows, and play continues. Trey Scott in the mix. They like him. Nice young player from Orlando, Florida. Redshirt freshman, played 4 games a season ago. Why not? Why not throw another flag? It'll be the 20th.
Yeah, you brought up Ryan Pelham earlier.
Yeah.
Just transferred from Oregon 2 weeks ago.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 6, 15-yard penalty, second down.
So again, it kind of worry all night, but you're
Correction. The foul occurred after the play. The down counts. It's third down.
you're driving, and a big penalty like that sends you backwards. But Ryan Pelham, top 20 wide receiver in the country out of high school, goes to Oregon. Things don't work out there. He originally committed to USC. He had offers at Alabama, Ohio, you name it. They wanted this guy, Ryan Pelham, and he finds himself on a DSU roster. Didn't get as many reps today as I'm sure we'll see later on in the season. I think that has to do with arrival time. Only 14 days ago did he get to Dover.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach Jackson will get him up to speed very, very quickly here. We know he's a guy that they're going to want to get the football in his hands to make plays. Like you said, Scott, I was surprised we didn't see more of him. I think he's a really talented guy that you could swing one out to and see what he can do in some space. And I'm sure they'll get it ironed out down in Dover and get the ball in his hands in the weeks up ahead.
They called him a mini Jack. They like his speed, obviously.
Similar frame, 5'10", yeah. 162.
A little bit of delay as the officiating crew talking things over. They have had a busy night.
They've earned their pizza, so hopefully Coach Carty saved a couple for the guys.
I'll tell you what, I know there's no pizza left, and how I know that, because Coach Carty bought pizza for the student section. A record turnout in the student section tonight at Delaware Stadium. 5,759 students turned out on opening night. The rain sent a lot of fans away. It was unexpected, really started coming down.
The correct down is second down. Second down.
Thank you, Rory. Second down now. As it's bobbled, that's a forward pass, should be incomplete. But just under 18,000 total here. It's a shame the rain kind of sent a lot of the fans packing. The atmosphere at the start of this game was
Timeout
there.
for an injured player.
And the student section just electric, as it always is here at Delaware Stadium. The fans, one thing that the FBS community and fans will see as Delaware grows into the FBS landscape is that Delaware State, Delaware's going to bring it when you have a game at Delaware Stadium.
Yeah, again, we said at the very beginning of the broadcast, it's a very prideful program dating back to their first year of football in 1889. 6-time national champions, so many historic coaches. Tubby Raymond, obviously a Hall of Famer with 300 wins here at the university. And a lot of NFL success, a lot of fans that will travel and follow the program closely. And a lot of people, it's Delaware, it's a small state, but the Hens are the bell cow, the big ticket in town, and it's been that way for a really long time. And I know a lot of people here, alums like myself and fans, are really excited for this new era and this next chapter in Delaware football history.
See Nick Minicucci warming up, tossed 27 of 34, 3 touchdowns on the ground. And the pause on the field is for Nick Carica, who is being helped off of the field, a defensive lineman for Delaware. Transferred from Wagner originally, a couple of seasons with the Blue Hens. He goes down. Really, the story at the start of this game was the injury of Zach Marker, who got the nod as starting QB, scrambles after going 3 of 8 in the air and gets knocked out of the game. There's a guy you just saw on your screen, Jamarion Coligbody, that they really like as a freshman. Not a whole lot of true freshmen to get in the mix. He's one of them. You just saw him pop onto the field, 6 feet tall, 175 pounds from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And get his first snaps as a Blue Hen. Going backwards is Caden brought down. And that's James Yelbert who was there. Also Quire Price in on the stop. And so as we approach the 2-minute timeout, it looks Delaware State continues as the theme has gone throughout this game. You make a run, you get into position, you're driving, penalties, sacks, moving backwards, making it 3rd and 4th and long.
Yeah, and with that down and distance, too, giving guys like Quire Price the ability to really just tee off on the tackle. That's it. Go rush the quarterback, get him on the ground, and they do a really nice job there of executing and getting a big sack. And this one's starting to get away as we're approaching here the
Delaware
2-minute
State.
timeout.
To the half. 30 seconds.
So this is an interesting one, Fritz. You got the 2-minute media time, or 2-minute timeout, 2-minute whatever they're calling it nowadays in college football, coming up in 6 seconds. It's 35-17. You use a timeout here on 4th down. This is just more time to decide, or maybe the personnel groupings were not ready to get out there for the punt unit.
I'm surprised you don't just run it into the 2-minute timeout. Maybe we're missing something on the play clock if that was getting down, but an odd decision there nonetheless to take that timeout with a free one in your back pocket there at 2 minutes.
Dyson Roberts will be back to 2-minute, whatever they're calling it nowadays in college football, coming up in 6 seconds. It's 35-17. You use a timeout here on 4th down. This is just more time to decide, or maybe the personnel groupings were not ready to get out there for the punt unit.
I'm surprised you don't just run it into the 2-minute timeout. Maybe we're missing something on the play clock if that was getting down, but an odd decision there nonetheless to take that timeout with a free one in your back pocket there at 2 minutes.
Dyson Roberts will be back to punt. 71-yard punt a season ago. He's a member of South Carolina State. Had 9 punts last year that were longer than 50 yards. There's Deshaun Jackson. First game as a college coach, not as an assistant coach, not as a position coach. High snap, Roberts gets it. As a college football coach at any level on the.
Yeah, and you're starting to see a lot of that now as we get ready to go to break. Mike Vick down at Norfolk State, and a lot of guys with not a ton of experience in the college ranks now.
Well, we'll talk about those two guys because they're going to clash. We'll tell you about that when we return. Final timeout at Delaware Stadium in the 12th edition of the Route 1 Ride. Delaware with a 35-17 advantage here at home, and our player of the game, sponsored by Delaware Orthopedic Specialist, the official orthopedic partner of University of Delaware Athletics, is Nick Minacucci. 20-34, 4 touchdown.
Yeah, efficient, has had a career where he's had 3 games with 2 touchdowns. He can add to that with a great outing here tonight. Pressed into duty. Played a really nice, efficient football game for the Hens and has a lot that he can now go and build on going into Colorado next week.
Saeed St. Fleur gets Delaware out of field position after a good punt by Dyson Roberts. And you just got to love what Nick Minacucci has always been tasked with. Guy in front of him goes down. Hey, you've got to get in there. And he has never blinked. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And Nick Minacucci always ready for the task. Won a playoff game a couple of seasons ago. And he was 3rd on the depth chart to start the season last year, and he starts the final 5 games of the year for the Hens. And now he's going to take a shot, looking for Raymond. There was some holding going on there, Jajarius Perkins and Brendan Raymond. And for the first time tonight, I'm not seeing a flag.
Yeah, that actually, compared to the one we had on pass interference there a few plays ago on the Hens, that one clearly was pass interference. But you're right about Nick Minacucci. Never blinks, didn't blink. Come from a big program, school, Don Bosco Prep. Has always been ready as we get a look here. I mean, get it all on camera there, but from our vantage point right here on the 50, there's a lot of jersey tug there. But Nick Minacucci has always been a guy that this program that they can lean on. Hopefully, Marker turns out to be okay and is able to stay in the mix. But if it's Nick Minacucci in the rest of the room, there's a lot of guys in there that are going to be able to compete and going to be able to be ready when their numbers call.
And then you got to tip your cap to Deshaun Jackson's group, who came in battle, really fought. They were heavy underdogs coming in against Delaware, playing their first FBS football game. And this was a battle for maybe longer than many thought it would be.
A great battle, and something that they're going to be able to build on. They came in here and they gave Delaware and certainly their fan base a bit of a scare. They punched them right in the mouth and were ready to play, and exactly what Coach said that they were going to do. They were going to come in, be great conditioned, here to compete, going to do what we do best, and they really did. A lot of credit to Delaware State.
Completion to Jakari Kelly should wrap things up. See it go over the middle. Love that they're throwing the football. Still working it around.
Yeah,
as the clock
I was going to say,
winds down.
You said might be the last one. With Coach Carty, you never know. He loves running plays.
Well, in the first state, it's the first season of FBS football for the Delaware Blue Hens, and their first win as a member of the FBS. The Delaware Blue Hens with the victory, 35-17 in this Route 1 rivalry matchup.
Scott, what a fun game. A lot of excitement here tonight, a lot of huge plays. Both teams are going to have to clean up a lot heading into week 2. And I expect we'll see a lot of that across college football as we see Coach Carty and Coach Jackson here meeting at the 50-yard line. A huge game for both teams. Thrilled to see Delaware win it. Hope to see Coach Jackson have a ton of success in the Hornets this season. Should be a really fun, exciting college football season, Scott. I can't wait to continue watching it.
It was a blast to start things off. Delaware now 12-0 all-time against Delaware State, and that man, Ryan Carty, stays undefeated in home openers as a coach. 4-0 are the Hens in season openers under Ryan Carty. It was a blast here. We got great weather, and then we got some rain. We had a close game, and then Delaware broke it open. There's a Route Run rivalry trophy. But a fun start to FBS football for the Hens.
A great start to FBS football. Now the Hens are getting ready to sing the fight song with the band. Should be a great weekend here at University of Delaware in Newark. Great way to kick off Labor Day weekend. It was a blast being with you, Scott, and really can't wait to watch both these teams compete the rest of the season.
We'll do it again in a couple of weeks. But for now, we'll say goodnight as Delaware stays undefeated in the Route 1 rivalry matchup. Once again, the final score 35-17. A big thanks to our producer, Caleb Flieger, and the entire ESPN production team for working so hard to get ready for the debut on this great platform. For Fritz Stuber, I'm Scott Klatskin saying good night from Delaware Stadium, where the Hens open up their season as an FBS team with a 35-17 win. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.
Welcome to the greatest show.